Hey guys, you're listening to the Chuck Bryant Show live from Cleveland, Tennessee, here on the WOTG Radio Network and WGHC TV. In the studio today is from a little bitty place you probably never even heard of. It's called Chatsworth, Georgia. Yes, that's correct. And in here today with us is the big time legendary. What's the name of that group you were again? I'm totally lost now. Under Grace. And they've been singing around for a long time. And Brother Steve and his wife, Miss Teresa. Steve has known my family for years. And when I go back years, Steve knows the biggest part of my family around Tunnel Hill and stuff, where I'm related to all the Franks and the Sanfords. Brother Steve, we've had many conversations on this.
Yeah.
Miss Teresa, since you were the programmer behind, and people don't understand, this lady is what makes Under Grace sound so good. Well, everybody thinks it's because Steve's looks and his great sound, but actually Miss Teresa's the brains and the person that puts all their music together for them to be able to go out. Tell us a little bit about Under Grace, how long y'all been together, your members and stuff like that.
Well, we've been singing. I think we've been singing around 17 years now.
As Under Grace.
As Under Grace, yes. And we first started, it was me and Steve and my daughter Tiffany and a friend of ours, or Steve's cousin. Her name was Elaine. And that's when we first started Under Grace. And we've just went out and sung. Elaine, she passed away a year or so ago. But we've had other wonderful people that has stepped up and helped us, and but through it all, God's been good to us.
Amen.
He is good.
All the time.
Yes.
So how far have y'all went out as a group to sing?
Kentucky.
Kentucky?
We've been to Kentucky, Alabama,
South Carolina.
Yes.
North Carolina. Tennessee.
And that's about
Just the home
We've
base
been-
area?
yeah.
Cool.
Down the southeast.
Yes.
Here, southeast.
Okay. Well, Steve, tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Well, I was raised in church. My dad, he was a Baptist preacher and preached all around the southeastern United States here for years. And seen many souls saved, and that's what it's all about, Brother Chuck.
That's correct.
Is seeing a lost one come to God.
Yeah.
And that's why we get out and do it, and why God blessed us so much, with our own recording studio and what He has blessed us with, I don't know, but He knows. And
His dad and two sisters sung too, as a group.
Right.
They went
Anchor
around
Trio,
Yeah.
singing and.
back in the 60s.
I've never heard them sing together. So,
What?
No, I never did hear
She
them.
had, but she can't remember.
It may
I
have
wouldn't
been on
go
a
there.
recording or something, but
Yeah.
I never heard them sing.
Well, the thing about it is Steve and I have been around a couple of pastors that, with my last name being Bryant, I'm related to half of Murray County and half of Winfield County. And Steve and I were together, what's it been, about 2 or 3 months ago when we were standing there together with, what was that brother's name that we went to his house that one?
Oh, Brother Gladden Cole. Dr. Cole.
Pastor Pope was standing there. Huh? Cole? Okay. Pastor Cole. Please don't forgive me if you see this, Pastor Cole. But anyway, Pastor Cole was just starting his ministry when he met my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And he was telling us about my grandfather. And Pastor Cole would probably be about the only preacher alive right now that would remember who my grandfather was in this area. Because the other person that used to pastor, I'm sure y'all ever sung at Winfield Missionary Baptist up in Tunnel Hill, at the top of the hill?
North Whitfield.
Yeah, North Winfield.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother Stringer that used to be there.
Yes.
Brother Stringer used to be my grandfather's associate pastor
Oh, really?
back in the '60s. Because the last church that pastor ever or Papaw ever ministered at was up there at Ebenezer Baptist Church, there in Truck City, right across
By
the interstate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but that goes way back to the '60s. Before I think I was born around that time because he was preaching at that church and stuff. Y'all got go ahead.
What was your grandpa's name?
Deward Sanford.
Deward Sanford.
And I'm related to all the Sanfords that's in Chatsworth. I'm related to the
Okay.
Dodsons. I'm related to the DeFores. I'm related to there's a bunch of them up in Tunnel Hill. I'm related to the Cranmores. I'm related to the Bishops, the Sanfords. Yeah, because Aunt Pansy lived up there, and everybody knew who Aunt Pansy was. There was another one of my brothers up there that just passed away. Steve, do you know that a couple of weeks ago that I didn't know who my grandmother, my great grandmother was, or would be my grandmother. My great grandmother, I never even knew who she was, and that's my papaw's mother. That's Papaw Deward's mother. And I was going on Father's Day, and I was going out doing some pictures, and these are the people of influence that influenced me throughout my life. And we went on a website that my wife owns, and we're not naming names on websites or anything, but we went on that website, and I typed in, and then there was Papaw, my great-grandfather, and then right next to him was his wife. And they're buried over at Dunnigan Cemetery. You know where that's at. And when you start going in there, that's where Shelby's buried at, and his wife. And I was talking to Katrina from Ordained here a couple weeks ago. I called her on the phone. We were talking. And because come to find out, I'm related to the Hasties. And I'm just going to quit going because sooner or later I'm going to find out that I'm related to everybody in Tunnel Hill, and that's really going to be scary. But anyway, what was one of the biggest concerts that Under Grace has ever done?
Let's see.
We sung in a church up in Knoxville. There's a benefit singing, and this thing was huge.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you could put 2 or 3 of North Whitfields in it.
Wow, that's a big church.
Yeah, boy,
You weren't scared, were you?
Scared, yeah.
Steve,
get nervous.
I can't see you being nervous anywhere.
I can't have it.
We get nervous.
Yeah.
We're not used to
We're
talking.
human.
But, when the Lord gets a hold of you, then that's a different story. I like to talk about the Lord
Did
and
you-
everything He's done for us.
Did you see last Sunday night service of Brother Wayne Ormby's?
I know you were there.
Had a
I
good
know
one.
when you're there.
We had a good one that night.
He's doing a thing. I know every 1 month on a Saturday night, once a month, they're doing a singing there. And I know this last Saturday was the first one because I popped in on him one Sunday night. I'm sitting at home with Donna, and I'd went with Brother Mike. That is with one of the quartets. He's working with a guy now that they do ministry all over the United States. And matter of fact, Brother Mike Fleming is going to Mississippi this morning, or he'll be in Mississippi this week. But anyway, I went to church over there that Sunday morning. That's the first time that I have been to a Baptist church in probably 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I walked in. It was a good service. And that night, I'm getting Donna ready and everything else, and I look over at her, and I said, are you going to be all right for the next couple hours? And she goes, yeah, why? I said, I think I'm going to run over to Wayne's church and see them. And I walked in the door. Wayne was coming to walk downstairs, and they walked in the door, and I said, hey. And so, but...
That's not a Baptist church.
Wayne's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Wayne's not a Baptist church. I went to a Baptist church
Oh.
over in
Excuse me.
Chatsworth.
Yeah.
I can't, it's,
Shine your light.
no, it wasn't Shining Light. That's not a Baptist church.
Shining light is the name of it.
Yeah. That's a Pentecostal church, right? Non-denominational. Brother Wayne.
Brother Wayne, yeah, like a non-denomination.
Yeah, but this was down. I can't remember what the name of the church was, but anyway, I went in there. It was a Baptist church, and it's in Chatsworth. And we went there with Brother Mike, and then Sunday night I went over to Pastor Wayne's church and listened to him preach. And they had, and that's, be honest with you, I have watched, I can't tell you how many sermons from there, but I'm always sitting around the desk and going back, because if you ever see me work on Sunday morning, we put on, besides radio and TV, we probably broadcast 37 different programs on 4 different networks. And that's not including the live church services that we have too. But I'll tell you right now, it's a good service over there. If nobody's been to see Wayne, and I'm going to tell you right now, he'll tell you just like it is.
Yes.
There's no sugarcoating it or anything else.
No, he's good. But you were talking about the biggest, I guess, concert. If that's, we had went up to Pigeon Forge at the fanfare when it was being held up there,
Yeah.
and we had got up there late. I think it was on a Friday night. But Miss Pat Hookie, she was the one that, it was her program, her show, and all that was up there. But she got us. They were saying, well, it's a little late. She said, no, my group's here, and I want them to sing. So I forget who it was that was singing. I want to say the Journeyman or some big, group like that. So we got up and sung after this big group had sung. So that was a little nerve-wracking, but it was exciting too.
Wasn't it
exciting.
Wasn't it
I
the
like-
Singing Echoes?
No, it wasn't the singing.
Oh, they
Echoes.
sung there that night.
No, it wasn't them. It was another group. But anyway,
I remember them being there.
Well, the first time that I went to NQC was with Alan Presley, and we were up there, and oh man, I'm even trying to remember Exodus, and Exodus went up, and to me, going in gospel music, as long as I've been in this, and I got to go to NQC, and so one of my biggest things were I walked into the room of where some of the legendary singers have been. And you think about the Greens when they were there, and, Tim and his brother Tony was there, and, Tony talking about some of the things that he did, if I got his name right.
yes,
And
that would be exciting.
Dottie Rambo that was there, and just thinking of all the great people that have been there at NQC that has been on that stage, as you can see the videos from the Hensons and Kenny Henson and Ronnie Henson and Larry Henson that just passed away last year, of all those. And even if you sung back there in the little stage to get ready to go, you were at NQC, and just being a radio personality, being there, stopping by the tables and talking to them. To me, that when people come up and say, hey, Brother Chuck, it's great to see you and all this, and shake your hand, and you're going, who in the world's this? But what's going on with Under Grace? What's the next big project? What's the next big song going out to radio?
We've got a new project we're working on. We're calling it like a double CD. It's a hymnal. It's the name of it's going to be Hymns and Such, and it's going to have a bunch of hymnals out of the old Red Book, and
Just some
maybe
older
one or two
songs
of ours
that,
original. And my wife, we've got a couple of new ones out right now. I think they're pretty decent. One of them called
Every Day's a New Day with Jesus.
yeah.
That's the one we got running on WOTG right now, I believe.
No, you ain't got it yet.
We ain't got it? Well, that's one for you.
Yeah.
No, you got the original CD.
Well, I'm talking about,
Sounds
don't
good.
we got one of them? I'll have to go back and see what we got playing, because I know that we got a couple of y'all's playing on WOTG radio.
But
That's
I don't
nice.
think you got this one yet.
Well, I'm sure that we will get it right.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I
it
just
won't too
checking.
long.
Okay.
Yes. It's it's a good song. It's you know, when I wrote it, I was out in the studio actually, and it was a dark day. Like, I don't know if it was, I know it was probably raining or snowing or something, but you know, I was sitting there and the words was just coming. I mean, it was just, the Lord was just giving them to me. So, but it's when, even though that it's dark and dreary, you know, you can still have and feel the sunshine, because if you have Jesus living inside of you, then it's going to come out.
Kind of
So-
remind you saying that being dark in the studio reminded me when Ronnie Henson and I were talking one time. He was talking about him writing The Lighthouse, and that's pretty cool. So, do y'all got any big plans for the next year when all this craziness is over with?
No, just keep doing what we're doing. We're getting, we're just going to keep recording. If anybody needs recording, we're going to keep singing. I'm making tracks now, and I've got two or three that I'm making for friends right now, trying to get them done, and so we're just going to keep doing just wherever the Lord takes us. That's where we want to go.
Nice, nice. Now, you did an album for one of my good friends. Let's see if you know who it is.
Let's see.
This is what we call the time when you really ask the really hard
Yeah.
questions here on the Chuck Bryant Show, live on WOTG Radio Network.
Let's see.
It wouldn't be a young lady, would it?
No, but you did do that one too.
Yeah, we done hers.
We've done it.
What's her name?
Okay.
No. The
You
young
got
lady.
me.
The young lady.
Because we,
This
Done
is
it about a little
this
over
is
a
a
year ago.
son and mother trio or duo or whatever you want to call it.
Son and mother.
Mama sings real good. She's about 80 years old. This guy talks
Oh,
about his mama.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wade.
Wade Smith.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oh, we love them.
I met Wayne when Wade when we were working over at Shaw Industries when I used to work over in the guardhouse, and Wayne. It's funny how people get you together, right? And so one night, the second shift supervisor's out there, and I said, "You need to send Wayne over and let me talk to him because I keep hearing so much about him." So Wayne came out to meet me at the guardhouse before he went to work, and then right after that, it was like Wayne was stopping by to see me all the time. And we did a singing down at his church at Swamp Creek Baptist Church back in 2018 or 2019, I can't remember. But anyway, then the next thing I know, Donna's in the hospital, and he calls me up and he says, "I got something I want to give you. Got something I want to give you." And I go, "What's that?" He says, "I finally recorded the first album." And I'm going, "Great." And he says, "Mama's on there singing with me." And to me, at that time, because that was great news, because Donna had just came through battling her battle with sepsis, and to get that album, get to listen to it and everything else, and we played it, and I remember. We played it on the radio. I was doing one of my radio shows, and I told Wayne, I texted him on the phone, and I said, "Get your mama around because I'm fixing to play that song." And she heard herself come across the airways, and that just made her day.
She is so sweet.
Yeah.
And
I think
We just love them.
She's on fire for God. I'll tell you
Yes.
right now, she is a pistol. She really is.
she, that song that she recorded of just herself, by herself, she had recorded that without music. And I went back and just added the piano to that.
Yeah.
And that was such a blessing to hear her sing that, because that's one of the old songs, you know, that mom and daddy used to sing, and so I really enjoyed that, and they are sweet. And Wade has he is such a singer. He is very talented.
Well, you know, the one thing I love about Wade is that he's not afraid to get out there and sing out of his house where everybody else has got to put up great big old drop and everything else.
Yes, they're
Well,
sweet, humble people.
He's got a big room in his basement where he does this.
Yes, he does.
Yes, they are sweet people.
Yeah.
We enjoy and hope to do it again soon. And
I
you
think
know, he has written several songs,
Pretty
and
good
I
songs,
made
yeah.
tracks for him. So I've heard him sing. I know one or two of them. So I look forward to hearing him.
Well, I'm gonna try to get him and his mom to come up here in the next couple of weeks because I'm really pushing. You know, one of the things that if you've been watching me on social media on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube is I've been pushing the Chuck Bryant Show. I want to try to do 300 interviews by the end of the year to get my program out there to where, you know, this art. And some of the biggest artists I've interviewed have been like Charlie Daniels. To me, that was, you know, you get on the phone, you're going, Mr. Daniels. And that was when we did phone calls. We do interviews and we do Zoom right now. I just got done doing an interview with a pastor out of out of Virginia. But anyway, the thing about it is it's so great that to have y'all here in the studio with us today. Thank y'all for taking away from your busy schedule. I know y'all been out on the road singing and stuff and ministering for the Lord and stuff.
We were going to, excuse me, we were going to be in Arkansas this past month, but something other happened and it got canceled. But we'll be out there next month, next year.
Next year.
Yeah, the last weekend of July.
Yeah.
we'll be.
You know, the craziness that's going on right now in the world. Churches are closing. And this COVID thing is going crazy, and it's just right now is I've been hearing it all my life, but you can see that we are in the last days.
Oh yeah.
And stuff, and the pastors are really gearing up towards that. You know, there's just a lot of craziness in the world right now.
Yeah, I've heard several preachers here lately preach on hell, in which I think that's what needs to be preached in these last days is hell.
Well, you know, Brother
Because
Steve.
there's so many people that goes there. You know what I mean? Every day. That
Well,
ain't good.
you know, if you go to back when we were kids, and I'm pretty sure that we're all around the same age here. But the thing about it is that I remember when I got saved, if you didn't hear Brother Bill Castell preach out of Revelations at least once or twice a month, and Steve, you know what, I've been there. You've heard Bill preach before, and Brother Bill, boy, he just lay it down. And man, little bitty short guy, that old white hair he had would turn red up on top when he'd slam the Bible down on the table, and he says, "Y'all not going to get right. You're not going to get right tonight." And I remember the day that I got saved. I was there one Sunday morning, and boy, he was all over. It seemed like he was all over. I couldn't move. You know, I turned my head here, and he was just all there. And but it's been so long since the preachers that you're talking about have preached out of that. And I mean, I'm seeing so more of the Pentecostals and the Baptists and the Assemblies of God that are talking about coming close to the end of times. But, you know, you listen to these other ones that, what are you getting out of, you know, certain preachers that all they are is motivational speakers? If I want a Zig Ziglar or I want a Tony Robbins, I'll go get one of their old cassettes and pop it in. No, so I say cassette, right? Go get a CD and put it in the CD player, or download the MP3 or the YouTube video cassette. Can you believe I said that? But anyway, shows how old I am. But anyway, and you know, you turn Zig Ziglar on, and you know, he'd tell you, and a lot of people don't realize that Zig was a pastor, and they had in his building that they had in Texas, they had they had an altar at work. They had a room that they would get together and have prayer, I've been told. But anyway, but if you you want to feel good and stuff like that, go get you a CD. But if you're worried about your salvation, and the one and only motivational speaker that ever was the man that could preach to those, and he could make the dead rise, and he could make the man get up and walk, carry your mat with you. You know, I don't need somebody to tell me that I got to get right, because I know the one that can. He's the great I am.
That's it.
And you know, each Sunday y'all go out and sing the gospel on Saturday night, revivals and everything else, and you carry that out there also.
Yes, we try to always, you know, it's not about us. No. It's all about the Lord Jesus Christ and what He done for us, and He can do for anyone else. And no matter what you're going through, it doesn't matter. He can bring you through it. In your lowest state, your lowest situation that you've ever been in, He will be right there with you, and He'll help you and pick you up. And I just, you know, if you're lost today, please come to know Jesus. He is there waiting for you. All you got to do is say yes. You know, accept Him, and you'll never be the same again. Never.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Right. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. In 1985, my grandmother told me to get up out of my bed. I said, "No, I'm not going to church. Can't make me." I went to church that morning, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and it's like I tell everybody, my internal life, where I'm gonna lay for the rest of my life, or not me, my body's gonna lay wherever it's gonna be, is that my grandmother that brought me to the cross is going to be there right beside me. And my mama, she's buried up in Ohio. I'd love to be beside her, but the one that led me to the cross, that didn't give up on me, is going to be right there with me. And she was a great man of God. I'm a great man, excuse me, Mama. Or Granny, great woman of God, and she lived her whole entire. You could hear her talking about my papa. She'd tell me all about him preaching and stuff like that, and you know, stuff about him as he was preaching. And I'm sure your grandmother used to tell you, or your mom used to tell you about your dad going out and preaching and stuff.
Yeah, there's an old saying. Not trying to change the subject or nothing, but there's an old saying: if He brings you to it, He will take you through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm a strong believer in that, Brother Chuck. You know, He brought me through a lot of things, and cancer for one. You know, the doctors didn't think I'd live, but I got a master that's in heaven. He said it wasn't my time yet.
No, still got work to do.
And praise God, you know, I can't thank Him enough for just letting me see another day.
Yep.
You know, and cause He don't have to let us see another day. Mm. He can say your time's up, and we're gone.
Yep, in a twinkle of an eye.
That's right. You know, one breath away from eternity.
Yep.
And you want to make everybody out there. You want to make sure that you spend your eternity in heaven, not hell. Because the Bible says where the worm dies not. You know, it's forever and ever. You know, both of them is forever.
You know, I was watching a thing on the Earth about how the Earth was, and they talk about being really close to a volcano, and how quick you could step into a volcano and you could lose a limb. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the people that are not right thinking about the volcano? That's what it's going to be like, because that's where your soul's going to be. Yeah. And never. So tell us a little bit about the studio for the people that don't know that you're the one behind the mastering of CDs, and the one behind putting y'all together, and several other independent artists out there that are around the area.
Well, we've had it about what 4 or 5 years. 5 years, something like that. And when we first got it, I knew absolutely nothing about, anything about recording. Nothing. But I've watched videos. This is Steve saying, watch video.
Watch a video.
So that's how I've learned a lot of things. And I've had good friends to come over, and they've helped me learn and
Tim Webb
and do. Yes, Tim Witt was one. I've had Brother John Cummins. He came and just talked me through, and Tim Witt's helped me a lot. He just don't know how much I appreciate him. But the guy that owns the music factory, he came up and he helped me and he showed me things, and
Boom.
so I've had a lot of help. The Lord, I guess, must really have wanted me to do this, to learn it. But anyway, it's just a small studio, but I think the Lord is in it. I think He is blessed, and because I wouldn't be able to do it on my own. But it's just.
Y'all mentioned Timmy Witt. Timmy Witt is a great man of God.
He is.
I've known Timmy for many years. Timmy and I used to work at Quality Buy together. We used to ride to school together. Matter of fact, we had classes together. We used to sit real close. Timmy, I was over at Timmy's studio here a while back, and me and Steve, we were all on the phone at one time together. And stuff. So you can see how close I am to these guys. But, Timmy does something that is out of this world. I think that he has brought back a product that everybody's forgot about, because the steel guitar has been gone. And now you hear a lot of these groups that are bringing the steel guitar back.
And the dobro. And
one of my songs, what is it, the song? The one man you wrote, Not an Ordinary Man.
Yeah.
He actually put the steel on that.
Yeah.
On that track for us, and I love it. It's great.
I love to hear Timmy play. I've never heard him in person. I've never even heard his group.
Oh,
I've heard him on YouTube. I've never heard him in person. Now, I have heard Greg and his group play before, because I went and seen them when they were down in Florida and stuff. But it's amazing how that little bitty town, and this is what I say, the little bitty town of Tunnel Hill and Chatsworth and Dalton, people think that, all the gospel groups are, there's none around here. And I have heard this. I have heard this so many. And Steve, remember me telling you this, is that everybody goes, there's no groups in there. And one person's name comes to mind, and it's Jonathan. Everybody knows who Jonathan Bond is. Mm-hmm. Well, I mentioned to a person the other day about Jonathan Bond, and they go, "Who?" Oh, wow. And you mean if you've been in Tennessee, you've been in Georgia, you've been in Florida? Yeah. Jonathan's been everywhere. He's also amazing. Been over, and Jonathan was in here a couple of months ago, and the song that he's got out right now is with Deborah. Deborah's going to be in the studio with us next week, and that's really exciting about what God's doing for our ministry, along with the gospel groups and the preachers and stuff like that. So is there anything else that y'all would like to talk about that's out there that you got an opportunity, Teresa, to talk to about your studio? If you want people to come in. Now, this is an independent studio. This is not the big type of studio that you go up to Nashville with. And I mean, if you're an independent artist and you need to get a CD out, you've written your own music. Teresa does an awesome job in putting the music together. And if you got backup vocals or whatever, if you need backup vocals,
Her and Tiff.
You know, just be careful not to hire brother Steve. Y'all be doing all right. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway,
No, you want to
Yes.
get her and her daughter, Tiffany. They can harmonize with anybody. I don't care who it is.
We have
They're
put
just
background on several.
well, I'm gonna tell you right now.
CDs.
I know that Tiffany was working today, or she'd be up here with us, and no, don't get mad at me, brother Steve. Don't get mad at me. But you and your daughter sounding together, singing together is an awesome. And Tiffany is she's got, as they would say back in the old way, oh, she's got the voice of an angel. But y'all do, all of y'all working together, even with you, Steve. Under Grace is a really great group.
Thank you.
And stuff, and y'all been around for quite a few years. Actually, I didn't know y'all when I was up in this area. I think, Steve, we may have passed parts, going in and out of churches and stuff. But he knows some of my really good friends that I used to work with when I was here in town, and I've been gone for 20 years, and I've been back for the last 3-4 years. And God has opened up doors just for this, like with our studio here that we have. And it's been a blessing to have y'all come by and take out of your busy time, because I know you've been working in the studio, just working them fingers to the bones and stuff, and processing music. Steve's been out there helping people in the ministry, working on cabinets and stuff like that.
helping her with tracks.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
helps
it-
me sometimes.
It takes, putting a track together. There's more to it than what you think, because you got to figure out all the keys.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back and you got to find what instruments you want on it. And it can be a little hectic sometimes.
I got a friend that's down in St. Pete, Florida, St. Petersburg, and he's got a big old studio. Then I've got another friend that lives down in Fort Myers, and Steve used to play with John Oliva. No, not John Oliva. Who was it? John Entwistle from The Who. And you go to Steve's house, and his studio is in this great big subdivision, or what we call subdivision. There down there, these big old places. You go inside, and he walks in this room. He flips this light on. He goes and flips a switch, just like if we would flip a switch on our power switch. Boom! You hear this whole entire room, and the soundboards. Teresa goes, and you hear, and he gets in there. I was in there one time when the lead singer from AC/DC was in there, and he came in, and they were saying they were getting ready to lay some tracks down for the hospital in Sarasota for them to. They did a ministry and it was a ministry. They would go into the hospital and they would bring musical instruments to kids like that had cancer and stuff like that in St. Pete and in Sarasota, where they could do that. And then there was a guy up in Tampa that did stuff for some of the gospel groups in Orlando and Jacksonville and all around. His room was built, his whole entire soundboard system came around like this. And up on the shelves were the Mac computers. And he had the little bitty Mac Minis that were sitting up on the shelf. And I went over there one time to put a new Mac Mini in for him and get it all wired, and worked with the sound engineer to get their stuff. Because his people that worked with him, they were in New York. And he worked with a lot of big organizations like that. But I'm in computers, but I couldn't do what you do. And I would love to learn, but I don't have enough time to sit down and learn it, because if I did, that's all I would do. I'd be in there every day playing
That's
with
me.
music.
Once I go out there, I'm out there for hours sometimes. And when we're not anything big or anything like that, not professional. I want to tell people, I'm not professional.
Well, that's
I'm
the reason
doing this.
that's one of the reasons
And-
I said, for the independent artist
Yes.
that wants to get a track out there, y'all are great for that.
But
And I want to say something
It
about the
would-
tracks too. I do use band in a box. I don't use like
Live
real
music.
live music or anything like that. So, but it is so much better. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the way it sounds.
But a certain friend of ours, Todd, you know who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
When we first started this, he thought, well, they won't nothing ever become of that about our studio, you know. And now he tells everybody, you won't believe that the sound that comes out of that little studio, you know. And
Well, you know,
he's
he-
God, you know, God, he can do all things.
Well, you know, Steve, I'll be honest with you, brother Steve. Todd kept telling me about you, and about you, and about you, and then this last, I guess, the last year and a half, I've got to really know you, and I kept telling him, well, let's get together and stuff, and I said, last year when all this pandemic was going on, I said, well, tell him that we'd like to come over and see him. Oh, you really want to go over and see him? Yeah, you keep telling me about this guy. I need to meet him. And then once we traded phone numbers, Steve and I have been together. I've been to your house, you know, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And, you know, Steve has kind of helped us kind of come to this studio because Steve come to the house and helped picked up stuff. The podium that's underneath this, Steve painted for us. And stuff, the little bitty things that Steve's done, we appreciate
It's all
it.
about helping each other.
Well, that's what Christians are all about.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and if we can win one soul,
Yeah.
we are the podium. It's in that you see a lot of the ministers teach and preach from here. Brother Steve went up to help me get it and stuff. I appreciate that.
No problem.
And anything else that y'all want to talk about, Steve? Is there anything?
You know, for the artist that's out there that wants to do a CD, you know, we charge $300 to do like a 10-track CD. And I mean, you know, we can do tracks, and I've compared tracks to some of the best in the country. And if you just give us a try, I believe you'll see that her tracks will measure up to about any of them out there. And not bragging on her, because, you know, God is the one to give her the ear for all of this, you know. And, you know, we give praise to God for everything.
Amen.
Because, you know, without Him, we can't do nothing. And, but it's all through Him that we're able to do this little stuff that we do. And we don't charge thousands of dollars like a bunch of others.
Because we're not professionals.
Right. But I think our
But if
will compare to theirs.
Well, Teresa, look at it like this. I'm an independent artist. I'm just getting my foot out in the door. And we know that if I put product out on the table, I'm going to sell it if I go to a church. And you've got that capability to have them help them. I'm an independent artist. I'm getting started. I don't have the budget to go to Nashville. I don't have the budget to go to Memphis. I don't have the budget to go to Atlanta. I don't have the budget to go to Knoxville. I can't go to Chicago. I can't go to Cincinnati.
And that's why I feel this is our part in helping others.
And it's just like the studio. Oh, would I love to have this in a TV environment and everything else? Well, to me, I do have a TV environment, but you got to walk before you can crawl.
Right.
And if I'm an independent artist, definitely look up, you know, look up your ministry. You're on Facebook and stuff like that. And you know, if you need to get a CD cut, matter of fact, I sent one of my friends over to you. I've recommended y'all a couple of times. Steve's been with me, and I've heard somebody say, "Oh, hey, Steve, tell them about Teresa," and that's working together. Like I've been in networking for over 12 years in what you call professional networking. How I pass you referral, and this is how we bring Christians together. Is, hey, have you heard of Undergrace? Have you heard of Brother Steve's wife? And Teresa can do a lot for you. Y'all have got a studio where I can go in behind it just like anybody else does. If you want to go cut that big one, you know, we can send you up to Day Win. We can send you over to Nashville. Anything else, but I'm an independent artist. I don't have a whole lot to lay down thousands and thousands of CD.
We were when we had never done a CD before, and we were able to go get one done, but it was expensive, and we had to pay so much here and so much there. So
I've heard some artists that I know that I was talking to them about their CDs and said, what it costs to have a track done, and wow, just to get one song laid down, it's a lot of money. And I know a lot of people in the industry now that does this. But if you're an independent artist, that's where there's studios. There's A, B, and C studios. But if I'm an independent artist and I want to get product out on the table, I can come to you and say, "Hey, I've got 10
that was his phone.
That's one for you." Brother Steve just entertained us with his little tune of the day. But anyway, but if I'm an independent artist and, I'm trying to get product out there, I can come by and I can either have you duplicate my CDs, or I can get somebody to get that track done and I can send it off online somewhere to get it done. If you don't have the time to get it done, or y'all can send it off and ask me about something when we get done, and I want to tell you something.
Okay.
But anyway, it's great to have y'all here.
It's a
I
blessing.
want y'all to tell us your website.
We don't really. We have a Under Grace on Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
Yes, you can go, or you can. I have a Facebook page, Teresa Eaker, and Steve has one. So you can contact us on there
Okay.
through
Or I've got
Messenger.
Steve's room. On my phone it says Steve's room.
Remember that, Steve's room. That's not the poll hall. That's not the other. That's just Steve's room. You heard it here on the WOTG network. Well, guys, it's been great to have y'all here and here in the studios today here at FWC and in the WOTG studios. And again, hey, if you're a gospel group out there, and all you got to do is get in touch with me. You can catch me on Facebook, or you can go to our website at the Chuck Bryant Show and Friends, or you can catch us on our Facebook page, or you can catch me on WOTG. If you want to email me directly, email me chuckbryantshow@gmail.com. And if you do you got an email, Teresa?
Yes, it's undergraceministries@yahoo.com.
Awesome. And until next time, hey, remember, when you got a problem and you're facing that in and you just don't have an out, remember, Jesus loves you. He died for you on the cross, died for you up on the cross. And all you have to do is whisper, and if 3 or more are gathered, he's in the presence. Thank you for listening to the Chuck Bryant Show live on the WOTG Radio Network. Until next time, keep it up, keep the prayers up, and remember, God loves you.